language, right? So, and these discussion will definitely help you in cracking the interviews and vivas also, because the discussion which we are going to have is the experience from my side, from my interviews, and the students who are discussing with us, your seniors who are discussing with us, that madam, these people, the company people are asking such questions to us, right? So let us briefly discuss. Actually, we don't have time to discuss so many things, but yes, I'll surely try to make you aware regarding few of the very basic concepts of any programming language, right? So with positive attitude, let's start our day. Let's start our academics today with the positive thinking, right? So let me share my screen with you and start with the discussion for today's lab session. Okay, before moving on, just wanted to confirm, is my screen visible and I'm audible properly or not? Great, okay, fine. Let us now start with some programming basics. So I cannot say it's a C language or any other things, but we will be discussing a generic programming basics. Okay, what do you mean by a programming language? What do you mean? Yes, I wanted to ask you also. What do you mean by a programming language? Anyone? Or if I say, what do you mean by a language? What do you mean by a language? Language is a medium for communication. Very good, Harshit. It's a means for communication. If I want to communicate with somebody, I should have a common language in between. Right? So, medium of communication. When it comes to programming language, it is a medium of communication between a human being and a computer. Right? Between a human being and a computer. Initially, if we see, the coding was done in the language in which the hardware understands, right? Your actual hardware understands, but that programming was so complex for a human mind to understand. And for a complex program, when the program complexity increases, when the application complexity increases, it is very difficult for a human being to program according to the language which hardware understands. So what human being did, they started inventing such languages which is comfortable for them. But now if we see, if we start creating a language, if we start writing the language, the programs in the language which we understand, then it is very difficult for a machine to understand, right? Because machine understands nothing except ones and zeros. So hence there was a need of some interpreter, some intermediate tool which can also understand the human language, and it can convert that into the machine language, and vice versa, where it is also capable of converting your machine language to human language. So that was the actual process of uh, inventing different kinds of higher level languages. Java is one of the higher level language. Initially, it was told that C is a middle level language because it was not exactly to the machine level, not exactly to the higher level, like normal English, right? But nowadays, as so many languages are in the market now, we can, for today, if we do comparison, the C becomes at the lower level, right? Now, let us start with the basics of programming. So, programming language is the tool through which we can interact with the computer. We can perform our desired task. We can instruct the computer what we wanted to do from it. Okay. Now, let's come to You all are familiar with C language, right? Now, if I say C is which type of language, it's okay. It's a middle level language or lower language. That's fine. But the approach C is used. Do you know that? Which approach is used by C language? Anyone? The approach used by C language to perform the desired task. Can anyone just give me, do you have any idea? If not, no issues. We are here to learn, right? But if anyone knows that which is the approach followed by C language to perform the task given to it, can anyone tell? Do you have any idea regarding this? Okay, never mind. Let me give you the term used by C language. C language use the approach of procedural oriented approach. It follows procedural oriented approach. Now, what do we mean by a procedural oriented approach? Procedural oriented, the simple term will be procedure. Again, if you make it more simpler, it will be function. So, C language says that whatever you want from me, I will create that, I will do that for you, but in the form of a procedure, in the form of a function. So whatever you want to do, whatever you want to create in C language, whatever task you want to perform through C language, you have to create a function for it. For example, let me have a simple application. You might have done this in your tutorial in C language. I want to create a calculator. I want to create a simple calculator. Right now, what is the approach in the calculator? We input two numbers. There can be multiple approach we can have. We can, first of all, we can ask the user that what you want to perform, which operation you want to perform, addition, multiplication, subtraction, or division. Once the user chooses for addition, then we demand at least two numbers. Once the number has been given from user, we add it, the C function will add it, and it will give the result. Or the another approach can be, we demand two numbers. We directly demand two numbers from user, and after demanding that two number, we perform all the operations on that two numbers. Addition, subtract. The addition of two numbers is this. Multiplication of two numbers is this. So there can be various approaches. But in in both this approach, ultimately you are creating different functions for your different task. For example, you will be creating a separate function for addition to add two numbers. Right now, I am not sticking to the exact function definition that it is taking two numbers. I am just having a rough discussion here. So you will be creating a separate function to add. See, it is also possible that in the single main function you can perform all your four operations. But that will be a very rough way of programming, not a professional way of programming. The professional way of programming says that for every different row, every different task, we should have a modular approach. Modular approach means we should have a separate function for every specific task. What is the advantage of that modular approach? That modular approach will help us. There are many advantages, but one of them is for debugging purpose. One of the major advantages of modular approach is debugging. Now, what is debugging and error resolving? Suppose I have taken two numbers from the user, and addition is correct, subtraction is correct, division is correct, but there is some problem with the multiplication answer. It is not giving me the actual answer. So instead of debugging and instead of checking the entire program, I will be only checking the module which is doing the multiplication, because I know that rest of the module is error free. Rest of the functions are not having any errors. Correct? So see, this is one of the advantage of having a modular approach, the approach in which you are creating a separate functions for separate task. So let's come back to this. So you will be creating a separate function for addition, for subtraction, for multiplication, and one separate function for division. Right? One separate function for division. Once it is done, your job is done. That means your C program, your C language focuses on functions. Focuses on functions. For everything, C program will create a function to do the task. That is one of the uh, aspect of procedural oriented approach. There are still many things for procedural oriented approach, but for now, time being, let us only remember that procedural oriented approach focuses on the different task to be carried out by different processes of different functions. Now, this is what one you can say way of looking at to the C language. Now let us continue with the same thing. If I have a function, let us continue with the function. Right now we are focusing on procedures, so let us discuss some things regarding the procedures. Okay, before moving on to the procedure, the thing which I wanted to discuss is a variable. And before variable, I want to discuss one of the major concept called data type. Very important for me to know that what you understand about data type, because this word looks very easy and very familiar and very popular till now, right? Integer is a data type, float is a data type, but there is so many things we can discuss about data type, right? So what do you understand about a data type? Anyone? What is a data type? What is a data type? Not specific to C language, but generic. You can also ask. You can tell that what do you mean by a data type. I hope everyone is mentally present with me. Yes, everyone. Anyone? What is data type? Types of data. Okay, Zenith. Okay, fine. Good try. Anyone else? Anyone else wants to add anything to this? Data type. What do you understand by a data type? No one? Okay. Let us take the example and then tell me what do you understand by a data type. The example is integer I. Integer I. Now tell me what do you mean by a data type? Operation that can perform. Shall we? Okay. Operation that can perform. No, shall we? Actually, I'm not getting what you wanted to say. But there is no word such like operation related to data type. Or use some another words to answer, because I'm not getting what you want to what you want to say. Data storage of specific type. Very good, Harshil. This is one of the very nice way of telling that what is a data type. It is a data storage of specific type. Size, values. Yes, very good, very good. Data storage format that can contain a specific type or range of values. Very good, very good. So great answers, guys. Exactly. So when I say data type, you know that it is actually describing us that which type of data is going to be stored, right? That's exactly fine. Now let me reframe the answer. Let me reframe the answer in a shorter way so that you can remember for a longer time. Can I say, just correct me if I'm wrong, huh? Correct me or tell me if you have any query regarding the answer I'm giving you, right? Can I say, whatever you have told, I am just summarizing it into one definition. All of you have given the exactly correct answers, but I am summarizing it in a very shorter way, and which is, I think, the most exact way of defining what a data type is. Correct? So can I say data type is a set of permissible values. Correct me if I'm wrong, or tell me if you have any doubt with this. Can I say data type is a set of permissible values? It is a set of permissible values. Yes or no? Right? It defines the set of permissible values. When I say integer I am restricting my variable I to contain a specific set of values only. I am restricting it. I am restricting it. Right? So it's a set of permissible values. Correct. Great. Okay. Okay, Harshil. Great that you are getting it. Now tell me what is a variable. What is a variable? Now see, data type is different thing, variable is different thing. Don't mix them. What is a variable? What is a variable? Now see, you have to think in a different approach, not only a simple normal person. Now you are an engineer, right? You are an engineer and you are going to learn one of the very, very important language which is right now used in the industry. It is demanded, it is in the demanded industry. So your thinking should be now, think the way of thinking should be changed. Don't just think like a normal second semester or a 12th science student. You have to be much more specific. Now tell me, what do you mean by a variable? Can anyone give me the easiest definition of a variable? Data type whose value cannot be fixed. Okay, variable means which is not a constant. I can say yes, which can store set of specific data type. Okay. Very good, Umang. Variable holds data. Correct. Variable holds data. Now let me give you the easiest definition, shortest definition. Can I say variable is a container? Can I say variable is a container? Variable contains data. Variable contains data. Correct? Now, it is, as the name is itself a variable, obviously it is not a constant. The container can change its value from time to time based on the requirement. That's fine. But the easiest definition is can be a variable is a container of a value. Container of a value. Now when I mix it, when I combine these two concepts with example integer I am telling that my I can hold a value, my I can contain a value which is permitted by integer, which is permitted by the data type integer. Okay, that is what the gist of this discussion. Now this should be clear to you, data type and a variable. So whenever someone asks you in Viva or in the interview that define a variable, define a data type, now you should be very, very clear. Use the proper words. See, it is not necessary always to give the elaborated and long answers for the question. Even the answer can contain 3-4 words, but these 3-4 words are so specific that no one can generate question from that answer. Your answer should be such that no other question can be generated from that, right? It should be so specific. ठीक है? तो ये हुआ. Anyone is facing any confusion for data type or container? Shall we proceed or shall we proceed? If you have confusion, do let me know. If not, tell me to proceed so that I can proceed further. Great, Umang. Thank you. Clear. Okay, fine, Harshil. Now let me proceed. When I say integer I, actually what I did. Now forget the definition, data type and variable. Now you know it better than me. Now tell me when I create integer I, programmatically what I did. Programmatically what I did actually. A 4-bit space of 4 bits, bit or byte. It's byte, not bit. 4-bit space. Okay. So what I am telling, I am occupying, correct Umang, correct. I am occupying 2 bytes or 4 bytes based on the language. So forget about that. Let's say we are focusing C language because you are familiar with that. When I say integer I, actually programmatically what we did, we occupied 2 bytes of memory in the in your RAM. Let me just tell you. Like this. In your, please pardon my drawing, just a second, student. Yes. So programmatically, what we are doing is we will be generating or we will be occupying your compiler. Actually, we will not, because we don't have the authority to go inside the memory and allocate 2 bytes, right? Your compiler will be having the responsibility to allocate 2 bytes to memory. So this is byte 1 and byte 2. And as it is integer, it will be 2 bytes. And it will be having some garbage value. Right now we are discussing C. So assume that when I declare a variable, when I create a variable, that variable will be having some garbage value when it will be created. So this is what the task which we are doing. Now student, please remember that this is a very important thing, because even students with in higher semesters are not knowing the difference between this process of creating a variable is called a declaration. Declaration means you are just announcing to the compiler, that there will be a variable whose name will be I and whose data type is integer. That's it. You are declaring it. You are declaring a variable, right? And once the memory will be assigned to this variable, there will be a garbage value. That is altogether a different thing. But this line is called a declaration, means you are declaring it as far as a variable is concerned. The same process, when I say integer I is equal to 10, can anyone tell me what we did? Yes, correct, Harshil, very good. When I say integer I is equal to 10, which process we did? Very good. We did initialization. We did initialization. Initialization is a process of giving the initial value at the time of declaring it. Initialization is the process of giving the initial value instead of garbage value. I want to assign my own value to the variable as soon as it is creating it in the memory. As soon as it is getting the memory, I want to give my value. This process is called initialization. Also, sometimes you may, in some books, you might find that this is called defining a variable. Defining a variable. Right? But generally, we don't use define term for a variable. We use only initialization and declaration of a variable. Right? So these two are the major two concepts of declaration and initialization. Please don't forget, guys. People are still having misconceptions. People are not remembering it. What is the difference between the two? And see, these are not the rocket science which you have to remember, or it is very difficult to remember. It's a very, and these terms are so appropriately given that English meaning itself is giving you the idea that what it is actually doing. Initialization, initially only you are giving the value. Am I clear with this? Okay. So this is what regarding variable declaration and definition. Fine. Let me now let me now move to function. Let me now move to function. When I say function, what is a function now? Let's move further. What is a function? Again, use proper words, technical words. Can anyone define what is a function? You all have used functions, right? You all have used functions. No one? What is a function? Simple. Let's try. See, there is no harm in trying. Okay, group of statement. Very good, Kinjal. Anybody else? Group of statement. Actually, this is a partial answer. Anyone wants to add anything to this? Equation that has only one answer, which returns one value, not equation, it is a process which returns always one value. You can do that. Yes, it's a set of methods for specific, not set of methods, Uma, because method itself is a function, right? It is not a set of methods, it's a set of statements for specific tasks. Okay, let me reframe, let me give you the proper definition. Function is a, please remember students, function is a group of relevant statements. See, every word is having its own meaning. You cannot skip, because if you skip it, if you are adding that, it is actually giving you more meaning to it. So group of relevant statements. See, why relevant? Because say for example, I am creating a function for addition. I will be putting only those statements which is related to addition operation. Right? I will not put any statement which is related to multiplication operation. Right? So it's a group of relevant statement enclosed within the braces, to perform a specific task. This is what one of the easiest definition of function I can give you. That group of relevant statement enclosed within a braces or enclosed within a pair of braces, I should write. Pair means opening and closing. Pair of braces to perform a specific task. Is it clear? Agreed, everyone? Yes. So relevant statement, yes, very necessary. You cannot put random statements to perform a specific task. When I want to perform a specific task, the statements which we are putting, the logic which we are putting inside it should be relevant to that task only, right? So relevant. Another, enclosed within a curly bracket. When I say group, how I can define, how I can tell my compiler that this is one group? Because if you don't define it in the curly bracket, there is no curly bracket, if there will be only set of statements, how will your compiler identify that this is actually the start of the specific function and end of the specific function? How can I tell? I need to tell the compiler that this is the start and this is the end for this function. Again, this another function is starting at this line and ending at this line. Right? As we have the importance of semicolon. What is the importance of semicolon? Your semicolon says that this is the end of the statement. Sometimes you might have got the error like statement missing. Why? Because when you don't have semicolon, your compiler won't understand that what is actually the end of it. And hence it is saying that statement missing. There is no statement because I am not finding any end to it. Right? So enclosed within a pair of curly bracket or braces to perform a specific task. Now, as we have declaration and initialization with respect to variable, we'll be having two more concepts for functions. Okay, again we have two things, declaration. Let me give you the example of declaration. Say I am saying void add integer I, comma integer j, or rather in declaration we don't have a variable name, so integer and integer. This is called a declaration, and the declaration always ends with a semicolon. Declaration means what? With respect to function, declaration means what? Declaration is the line which will be telling your compiler that there will be one function later on in the program, there will be functions later on in the program which will be having the name called add, which will be having two integer parameters which will be returning nothing, which is returning nothing. There will be a function called this. This is simply an announcement. This is simply an announcement to the compiler that there will be function add in the future. Clear? Am I clear with the declaration part, everyone? Declaration is simply an announcement to the compiler that there will be a function called this. But actually, right now, at the time of declaration, we are not telling the compiler that what my add function is doing. I am only saying that there will be add function. Okay? It is something like that. GTU says that from in this semester, you are having these many subjects. But syllabus is not yet given, for example. Right? So what happens? You will be just knowing that in future, I am going to learn Java, I'm going to learn OS, I'm going to learn web programming, I'm going to learn IoT, like this. But inside Java, what we are going to learn, right now it is not told to you. So it is not defined to you. It is only declared to you that there will be the subject called Java in your fourth semester. When your syllabus comes, actually GTU is defining that subject, that inside this subject, we are having these many topics. So actually in detail, GTU is telling that this is the task of Java. This is the task performed from Java. Clear? That is called definition. So now syntactically declaration and definition both are very, very different. Please do remember, guys, I need this concept in Java also. We will be using, sometimes I will be only telling you that declare a function. So now when I say declare a function, you should be very, very clear that I just have to give the signature of the function. This is called a signature. Signature of function means signature contains three things. Signature contains three things. See, these I'm telling you, I'm using some words which are not known by the 8th semester, sometimes 8th semester student also. These are company specific words, these are interview specific words. This is called a signature of a function or a prototype of a function. You can use both, prototype of a function. Signature contains three things: return type, name of the function, and parameter list. It may happen that function accepts no parameter, then also it's fine. No parameters, then also it's fine. So it is like signature has three things: return type, name of the function, and parameter list. So in declaration, there will be only three things. There will be only three things. Fine. So in declaration, you are just providing a signature. You are not telling that with this function is actually doing what. You are not giving the task right now. You are just announcing. ठीक है? और अभी definition में क्या होगा? What will be the change? Along with declaration, you are also telling like this: integer j. You are actually telling that there is a function called add which accepts two integer parameter with return type void, and it is doing blah blah blah. Whatever you want to add, you can add it here. Whatever you want to add, you can add it here. This is what definition of a function. This is called a body, function body. Function body. So along with the declaration, along with the signature, if you are specifying the function body also, then it is the definition of a function. And function body is always enclosed within a pair of curly bracket. Am I clear with the difference between definition and declaration? I want answers from everyone, guys. Only few students are giving me the response. I want answer from everyone, whether you are getting, see, I don't want only yes. I don't want only yes. If you are having query, if you are having confusion, if you're not getting it all, then also tell me, but I want your response. It is not always necessary that positive response only. It can be negative, but I want a response. Because see, if it was a physical classroom, I can read your face. We have the art of reading a face, and we can at least tell you that whether you are getting it or not getting it, or whether you are accepting the answer or not. But right now, we don't have that facility of reading your face. We can only make ourselves assured by your responses, not only positive, sometimes negative, based on the concept. If you're not getting, see, if you are not getting, think about yourself. If people are getting, all of you are telling yes, and there is no shame in telling that no ma'am, I'm not getting it, or I'm having this doubt. Think for yourself. You will be the only person who is going to be with you for entire life. Nobody will be there with you for the entire life, right? So think for yourself first. Be assured, be confident that whatever I'm, okay, repeat declaration. Fine, Kinjal. So what is a declaration? Declaration is just an announcement. Declaration is just an announcement of telling the compiler that there will be a function with this name, with the parameter list, and this is the return type. What the task which is performed by the function is not yet given. This is a declaration. You are declaring it. Right? It is like something like that. On Saturday or on Sunday, you all got a message, right? That our fourth semester is starting from tomorrow. So there was an announcement to you, there was a declaration to you all that we are going to start our fourth semester from 21st of December. It is just a declaration. But which subject will be there on Monday, which subjects will be there on Tuesday. So actual timetable you got on Monday. So that is what your semester got defined from Monday, that this on this day this subject has to be taken care. So in detail what your semester will tell you, what your semester will teach you, that has been started from actual Monday. On Sunday it was just announced to you that there will be classes from tomorrow. Which classes, which faculty, at what time, everything was defined to you later. Am I clear, Kinjal? So definition is, along with the announcement, you are telling what you will do. डायरेक्टली ऐसा हो कि मान लो आपको मंडे ही आपको अनाउंसमेंट हो जाएगा कि दिस इज योर टाइम टेबल, तो उसका मतलब क्या हुआ, आपको डिक्लेयर भी वही उसी दिन हुआ, डिक्लेरेशन के साथ ही आपको टाइम टेबल मिल गया कि आपका सेमेस्टर आज से शुरू हो रहा है और दिस इज द टाइम टेबल, दिस इज द फैकल्टी, दिस इज द सिलेबस. तो ये आपको अनाउंस, पहले आपको नहीं पता था कि ऐसा कुछ है, 21st से सेमेस्टर स्टार्ट हो रहा है, सीधा डिक्लेयर हुआ और डिफाइन हुआ. तो क्या आप बोलते हैं, फंक्शन इज डिफाइंड. अलॉन्ग विद द डिक्लेरेशन व्हेन यू प्रोवाइड द फंक्शन बॉडी, इट बिकम्स डेफिनेशन. कभी कभी ऐसा होता है कि पहले हमें ऐसी जरूरत पड़ती है कि हम पहले डिक्लेयर कर देते हैं, शुरू हम बाद में करेंगे. पहले बोल तो देते हैं बच्चों को कि चलो 21st से शुरू होगा, टाइम टेबल हम बाद में भेजेंगे. तो क्या हुआ, दिस इज व्हाट अ डिक्लेरेशन. एम आई क्लियर विद दिस? एनी अदर पर्सन इज हैविंग एनी डाउट? Okay, great. Thank you. So this was a declaration and definition. One more topic I wanted to cover quickly if possible. Uh, do you know structure? Everyone? Structure or union? They are same, only how they allocate memory is different. But do you know structure and union? And you might have used it also in the data structure subject to create linked list and to create arrays and like this, right? Structure. Do you have the idea of structure, guys? Please be very quick. I want to complete this. Okay, okay, fine. So you are having the term structure in your mind. Now, what is a structure? Actually, I wanted to focus on this particular term, user defined data type. User defined data type. Now, see, when I say integer, or when I say float, when I say double, anything, right? If I do like this, the values are fixed, given by C. ठीक है, or given by, I should not write C, given by language. लैंग्वेज ही आपको बोलती है कि अगर मैंने डेटा टाइप इंटीजर यूज की या फ्लोट यूज की, इसका मतलब ये हुआ कि आप इतनी वैल्यूज, इतनी रेंज यूज कर सकते हो. दैट मीन्स इट इज इनबिल्ट डेटा टाइप. It is an inbuilt data type provided by your language, whose everything, all the constraints are given by the language itself. You have no right, you have no authority to change the things related to integer or float because it is inbuilt. Clear? लेकिन हर टाइम ऐसा नहीं हो सकता कि मैं सिर्फ फिक्स्ड चीजें यूज करूं. There are scenarios where I wanted to create my own structure, my create own data type, which can accommodate my type of, which can accommodate a data which I decide, right? Which I decide. So that can be done with the help of user defined data type. User defined means now I want this defined term. When I say defined, defined means it is a set of curly bracket. It is a set of curly bracket. When I say defined, now you should be able to relate. Define means set of curly bracket. I am defining it, what to put inside it. Now, as it is a user defined means it is everything is in the control of user. So user will decide the name, user will decide the content, everything will be decided by the user. So let's say I am creating student, right? But this is a structure. I have to use the keyword structure because I am creating one structure, I am creating one data type of the form structure whose name is student and which will be carrying my permissible values. For example, integer, roll number, and character array, character name of 10. Now this particular data type, this is a data type. Now if I say this becomes your entire data type, this is a user defined data type. So this becomes your data type. So if I want to create a variable of student, how to do? Student s1 like this. Is it relevant to integer I? Now if I relate to integer I, that means what? I is my variable, s1 is my variable, integer is my data type, student is my data type. The values which will be contained in, which will be there inside I, will be defined by integer. Here the values which will be defined, which will be there inside s1, will be as per the student data type. And what student has these two things, means s1 will be having permission to store two values only. One will be roll number and one will be name. Now can you relate set of permissible values? This S1 can contain only these two values because its data type is student. And as student is a user defined data type, I have decided that I want to keep these two things inside my data type. Correct? Can you relate now defined word and data type word and user defined? Everyone? Yes. So this is what user defined. Now in function also you can say that there are two types of function, inbuilt and user defined. When I decide what to keep inside the function body, it becomes user defined. When, for example, if I use printf, can I decide that what my how the printf function will operate? I can only give the value what I want to print, but can I decide that how printf will work? I cannot decide because it is an inbuilt data type. Inbuilt function. I am just providing what I want to print. I cannot change the operation how printf works. So this is an inbuilt function. I am not defining it, I am using it. But here I am defining it. This is a user defined function. This is inbuilt function. Clear? This is what the importance of user defined. User defined means user will decide. Defined means set of curly bracket. Whatever you want to keep it inside, you can keep it. Okay? And that is what the data type, set of permissible values. Am I clear with all these concepts or not, guys? Because I want you to be very, very clear for this concept, because in later part of Java, we will be using all these terms. I will be only now telling you declaration. So you should have that mapping, that what do you mean by declaration? Declaration means only signature. When I say define a function, you should be knowing that whenever someone says define, you have to declare it as well as you have to provide the function body. Okay. Please do watch this video again if you are not having, or if you want to, if you are not clear, and still after watching the video next time, even if you are having doubt, do let me know in the further sessions for clarification. Okay, guys? So this was end from my side. You can think for a minute or two. If you have any query, do let me know. Meanwhile, I will be taking your attendance. Zaki, please, I think there are some changes in your lab batches. So just let me know if anyone, if the name, I don't speak the name and you are in this batch. Okay. Zaki, you can write here, yes. Write the chat box. Okay, present. Yeah, same strategy. Present. Okay, Sachin, be quick. Sachin, Milan, Hitesh. Sachin is present, Milan is present. Hitesh, not there. Okay, Chirag, Vensi, Kamalraj. Chirag present, Kamalraj present, Vensi present. Astha, Shelvi, Jai Kishan. Shelvi is present, Jai Kishan is present, Astha is present. Hiren, Mohammad, Munaf and Yatish. Hiren is present, Mohanaf is present. Yatish is not there. Okay, Mishi, Kushal, Umang. Okay, all three present. Urvisha, Mihir, Nirali. Urvisha present, Mihir present, Nirali present. Great. Rahul, Milan and Diksha. Milan is present, Diksha is present, Rahul is not there. Zenith, Om, Harshil. Zenith present, Harshil present. Om is not there. Anyone whose name has not been announced? This is what the list I'm having right now. Okay, તમે કઈ બેચમાં હતા પેલા?
પેલા A batch માં હતી.
તો અત્યારે A batch તો છે.
સ્ટુડન્ટ છું મેં.
ઓકે ફાઇન. તો તમારો રોલ નંબર બોલો ને. જસ્ટ અ સેકન્ડ હું જોઈ લઉં.
200.
જસ્ટ અ સેકન્ડ. કિંજલ તમારું નામ તો હતું લેક્ચરમાં. યસ, 4 ને છેલ્લે?
હા.
Okay. You are in A batch, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Fine. Kinjal is present. Anyone miss now not here? જેનું નામ હું ના બોલી હોવ એવું? Okay. So that's it, guys. I hope it was an interesting session and informative session for you all. Thank you everyone for joining. Let's meet in the next lecture. Thank you for joining. You may leave the meeting. Take care.